African Americans are treated differently from other people in the U.S. The message from a 9-year-old girl delivering a tearful speech at the Charlotte City Council in North Carolina. It comes after the police killing of Keith Scott in the city. Officers claim he was armed, but Scott's family says he was only reading a book when he was shot.
It's a shame that our fathers and mothers are killed and we can't even see them anymore. And we have tears and we shouldn't have tears.
Meanwhile, body cam footage of the policeman who shot unarmed Terrence Sterling in Washington, D.C. several weeks ago has now been released to the public. But the police officer, identified as Brian Traynor, actually had his body camera turned off at the very moment that Sterling was shot. The camera, however, was then turned back on just moments later when the officer's partner attempted to administer aid to Sterling, who was bleeding on the street. And footage of some incidents now coming to light long after they happened. In the U.S. state of Georgia, a black man filed a lawsuit against 2 police officers who tasered him in jail. It took place a year ago. However, security camera video only emerging now. A warning, you may find the following images disturbing. Carlos Seals received head injuries and then suffered a stroke. It left him with medical bills of more than $20,000. Police said in a report they had used a stun gun because he had become combative. However, Seals denies that. And we spoke to Solomon Comisiong, an activist and founder of Your World News program. He warns such racial issues are deep-rooted.
I'm just glad that it has been released and that the public is starting to see more and more of this stuff. That this is not coincidence that this happens to black people in America. Without a doubt, I definitely expect states like Georgia to try to do what they can to use the example in North Carolina to say, hey, we don't have to release this. Let's use our legal machinations to do what we can to prevent this from getting put out in the public. And that means that the general public and organizers, activists, and organizations in general need to, double up our efforts on the ground to make sure that we can combat these laws and make sure that these videotapes continue to be put out there for the public, for the families to see, so that there is more of a chance for justice to be meted out, hopefully, on the other end.
Tourists, go home. That's the message from hundreds of protesters blocking giant cruise ships from entering the waters of Venice. Residents are fed up with millions of foreigners flocking to the city annually who outnumber the local population and ultimately damage the city's sinking foundations. These massive ships bring about 30,000 tourists to Venice every day. And locals say they are ruining the canal city, its culture and the environment. In total, around 60,000 visitors arrive daily, more than the local population, which crashed to a new low of 55,000 this year, as unhappy residents flee the 22 million tourists who turn up on their doorstep each year. Well, the risks facing the landmark city are so high that UNESCO has even threatened to put it on the list of World Heritage in Danger sites if the number of cruise ships is not reduced by 2017. However, the Cruise Lines International Association tells a different story.
We are aware that some environmental activists picked the cruise industry as the primary source of Venice's problems. While we respect everyone's opinion, we believe this is a biased argument, which misses the point of what the cruise industry is able to offer tourists and what it brings to Venice.
Yeah, more of your worldwide news headlines in just a moment.